Hello there, everyone. We'd like to welcome you into 2021. Wish you a happy new year. Although, as we're filming this, it actually is New Year's Eve right now, so this version of ourselves is still stuck in 2020.
Yeah, so hopefully everything is going well in the next
Over the
couple
next
of
few
days before this
days.
goes live, so there's none of that issue.
If everyone's walked in slowly and been quiet, don't disturb it. 2021 is going to be great.
Yes, so we are happy to be there. It is finally the new year, and we do have some news about it.
Some news
Yep.
to update you, because the last time that we did anything regarding like the catamaran itself or starting the build, we were supposed to be starting it right now. I think we told you that the container was going to arrive in late December. Build was going to start right then. But we're still in Arizona right now because there has been a delay.
Yeah, that's actually why I'm not in a coat right now, as Arizona's weather is pretty pleasant right now. So we are fortunate to still be here. We were given a bit of forewarning about when the container was coming and the delay that we were experiencing. So we decided just to kind of hang out here a little bit longer than we originally anticipated and take full advantage of Arizona.
Yes, but that does mean that we need to give you an update with what's going on and let you know why there has been the delay of why we haven't started yet. Some kind of good news and bad news, but it still ends in us starting the build in not too long, so that's good.
Yes, so the reasons for the delay, as just said, there's good and bad. We'll start with the good one first. Good news is since this is Max Cruise's first time doing these 3D module components with the flange pieces, they are doing the smart thing and they are dry fitting everything to make sure it all works perfect, it all fits perfect, that the lines are all exactly where they're supposed to be. We greatly appreciate that, because as you can imagine, if they ship this container all the way from Vietnam to us and components don't quite fit together perfect, we are going to have some problems.
It's not like the Amazon easy return.
Yeah, not dropping off at a Kohl's or UPS store. So they are doing that full dry fit, and kind of the cool part is they have sent photos of that now, and we're going to go over those and kind of share those with you in a few minutes. The bad reason is because of COVID. It has affected shipping.
Yes.
We didn't quite realize this. In our previous quotes, the information that we got in the past for the shipping did not have this factored in, because, again, with the holiday season, what's going on there, with Lunar New Year starting now in Asia, and the COVID situation in the U.S., it has...
all of those have impacted what was originally quoted to us.
Yep. So we originally thought that it wasn't going to be a problem having the container arrive to us in Baltimore and then get brought down to us at Kent Island and close to Annapolis. Things have changed.
Yeah.
So what Max Cruise had contacted their typical shipping agent that they've used before for different things, and the original plan was, again, it was going to follow that path, and it was about that 3,500 that we originally thought it was, and everything looked okay. So we booked the shipping, it got canceled.
Yes.
Shipping number 2 got canceled. Shipping number 3 canceled. So now we're on to shipping quote number 4. It was kind of a mad rush as to how this container is going to arrive and get to us. The solution now is there's a ship going directly from Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City, to New York Harbor. So no longer Baltimore Harbor, a couple hours north to New York Harbor. And instead of it arriving at our doorstep in the marina, now we've got to figure out a way to get it from New York Harbor to us. So there's a few more steps in there.
And the quote is higher, even just to get it to the harbor.
Yeah. So originally, again, we were 3,500 was the quote that we had to get it to us. Now we're looking at 5,500 to get it from Vietnam to New York Harbor. Which, again, we still need to get it from New York Harbor, get it released through customs and all that kind of stuff, get it released and brought to us at Kent Island. We're looking at probably 1,000, 1,500. I have no clue at this point. We're sending out for quotes for that. So that's kind of where we're at. Yeah. That has delayed things, as you can imagine, severely delayed things.
With the shipment leaving Ho Chi Minh and going to New York, it's going to be about a month in transit, leaving January 3rd and arriving to New York Harbor somewhere around February 3rd.
Yep, so if anyone's got a big truck that can haul a 40-foot shipping container and wants to pick it up in New York Harbor,
We'll buy you dinner.
Yeah. So we do have that now coming with it. The other thing is, again, because we budgeted about $7,000 for the shipping, we're going to be about $7,000 in just the first container, and we have the second container coming. So what we're doing now is, within that first container, we should have enough to keep us busy for
a couple months.
Probably. So what we're doing is we're delaying the second shipment of the other components for a little bit. Get past the Lunar New Year and see what's happening. Hopefully things have settled down a little bit, and we can get a shipment that goes directly to Baltimore and gets it to us. Make life a lot easier, and hopefully brings it back down to that $3,500 to us that we originally thought. So then we're only over the budget by $3,500 and not another $7,000 over budget. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with now. Everything looks okay with this shipment. It should not get canceled, so you shouldn't have to delay that even more. But that's kind of where we're at with that. So yeah, bad news for us.
Bad news.
It won't affect anyone else that's purchasing this, just because of the fact that hopefully everything is back more to normal.
To a normal
there
schedule,
isn't these 4 different things or 3 different things combining to destroy our shipping. And yeah, just bad timing. Just bad timing on our part, but whatever. We'll figure it out.
Now onto the really fun part, and as we had mentioned, Max Cruz did us a big favor by going through and doing a dry fit of our hull, of everything that's going to be in the first container, just to make sure that all of the pieces come together, the seams match up, the flanges line up. What's going to be a little bit different from when you see us put it together and the photos that they've sent us is that we're going to be putting all of the bulkheads in, which they didn't really need to do just for the dry fitting. And of course we're going to be adhering it where they just wanted to place it together to make sure that it fit. But they were kind enough to photograph the whole process as they did it. So not only do we know kind of what to expect and how it should look as we put it together ourselves, but the amazing thing is we can watch it come together and see how it's going to look.
It looks awesome.
And it does look awesome.
And yeah, we'll go over some of the details with it too. But so how this is going to work. Things are a little bit different than what we originally discussed. They've done the math, figured it out, and they'll actually be able to fit in a high cube, so a taller 40-foot container. They can fit the hull pieces, the hull bottom pieces, and that chamfered panel, the piece that goes, kind of an angled piece that goes from the hulls to the bridge deck underneath. They're able to integrate that directly into the hull. So there's no longer a seam there, which is great. Adds strength to it. It makes it easier to line everything. So it's really cool that they're able to fit that in there. And that is kind of what you see here. So that's why it's not in 2 separate pieces. But how it's going to come together. The plywood little frames that you can see everything sitting on are included with the kit, along with those structural metal pieces, that the bracing that goes in between that. That's just to make sure that we get everything lined up properly. It holds it into place, so it's not just sitting on the concrete floor or on the rough floor. It's just a really, really good way to get everything aligned with the way that they want it.
Yes.
So what we'll do is we will be putting, now ours is going to be a little bit different because we've got
limitations for space.
Yeah, that tent isn't as wide as we'd love it to be. So we will be doing hull number 1 in the middle, building that up, then sliding that over, doing hull 2 in the middle, sliding that into position, and then doing that bridge deck, the middle piece that connects those 2 things together. Whereas they are doing it like you would a normal setup.
Starting with both hulls.
Yep.
Working up.
So it's going to be a little bit different, but this kind of gives you an idea that everything fits properly and looks good. Okay, so it starts off with those hull bottoms into place. The first piece that we'll actually be adhering, besides putting in our bulkheads, will be the inside panel, and what that is, that's basically from the bow aft to those chamfered panels. And so that will be put into position. Then the next one after that basically is going to be, now they do the bridge deck pieces. Again, we're not going to be doing that right away. The next thing that we'll be doing is the hull sides. So those will be going into place across there. Then that's when we'll be moving out side to side. We'll be doing the bridge deck pieces then at that point. Then we'll be doing the bow cones will be added, and you can see how that flange system works on that in the next couple of photos, which we'll go through and show you kind of the flange, the male and female side, and how when those pop in together, there's just that little small seam along there. And again, we'll be glassing on the inside of that, and there'll be the plexus adhesive, a methacrylate adhesive, will be holding that those flanges together. And all we have to do then is to gel coat and fair just that little seam along that bow area, around all that, along the side of the hulls, along the bridge deck, and the deck and the other pieces up top. But that's basically it. So it's going to look perfect on the outside that rapidly. And that's basically how we get to where we're going to be at for the first couple of months, is building out that, doing all of the bulkheads, putting those into position, glassing those all into place, adhering all those things. The one other thing that we will see too will be that aft beam that goes across and really gives that a lot of structural support to this boat will be added there as well. And then in container number 2 is where we'll get things like the cockpit and shower and cabin top and dagger boards and rudders, and those extra items are all going to be coming in container number 2, which is kind of the fun, the extra little cosmetic things that we'll be adding. But we'll be able to do a ton of work starting off in our interior furniture and that kind of stuff with just the holes the way they are. It's going to give great access to everything too, and great light and ventilation and all that type of stuff. So it's exciting to be able to do that. But the really, really cool part is, so what you're seeing here from them putting, now granted they were using a crane, and they've got guys that know what the heck they're doing, quite a few of them
and they weren't actually putting the adhesive down.
They weren't adhering it, they weren't putting the bulkheads in, and they weren't glassing it, and those things, and I do get that. But just the logistics of putting those things into place, they did it from putting the 2 hulls down to putting all the other components into place, as you see in that kind of final photo type of thing with the bridge deck and everything, in under 2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours they were able to do that. That is absolutely incredible.
Don't
absolutely
expect that
insane.
from us.
That is not the way that we're going to be doing it, because
but that's amazing that they can do that.
It's absolutely insane that is possible to just at least dry fit it. We may just dry fit it just for fun, just to try to practice all of the movements and everything like that before we get that crazy glue in there.
If only we had that crane.
Yeah, if only we had that crane. So we're trying to figure out a gantry crane system, kind of a rollable thing, and we'll go over that because we do need to be able to lift these panels. They're awkward because of their length, of course, being 40-foot long panels, that it's going to be fairly awkward. They're not incredibly heavy. The hull bottoms, because they do have the structural framing in there, and because they have the tanks in there and a bunch of extra stuff in it, and that chamfered panel across there, is getting close to 800 pounds each side. So not insanely lightweight. It's movable with people if we have enough people moving that, but it's going to be much easier if we do have a gantry crane. So we are going to try to build something that we can lift and move these things a little bit easier.
If only we could add that to our Amazon wish list.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to make it on there.
Not going to. So we got to figure out a solution with that. That's going to be the next couple of weeks. We'll be trying to get that squared away as to how that's going to work. But that is pretty much where we're at right now, which is still great news. Still great things happening. A little bit of a delay there. It's understandable. We hope this is the only delay we have, but we know that is not the case at all.
Because we've done this before. Yeah. We know there's always delays. So don't worry, we're not delusional that this is all just going to come together. But we've also added plenty of cushion time for those delays. Yep,
so we do have all that time to kind of figure things out. And again, the calendar doesn't start yet. So our 2 years is not starting yet. It starts when we actually start building.
Yep, when we receive the containers. So that is where we're at right now. Again, we hope everyone is having a great 2021 so far. By the time this airs, we might be on the road on our way back to Maryland. So
yeah, we're just trying to figure out the last logistics and hope that container gets on the ship in time.
Yes. So we'll keep you updated with anything else as it happens, but hopefully that has answered some of your questions. And again, we'll probably keep doing little updates and answering other questions as you have them. But until next time. We'd like to give a big thanks to all our patrons for making these videos possible. It could not be done without your support. If you would also like to become a patron, please click the link in the description box below. You'll find our patrons get amazing extras, including ad-free early access to videos, a patron-only Facebook group, live chats, and bonus behind-the-scenes material.
Give me your freedom. Whoa, yeah, to pieces. Yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium. Life is so easy. Whoa, you love me to pieces. Yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium.